All right, I'm here with a another deck tech. This one I'm calling Pebble Bomber. And the reason is because we have the Fruity Pebbles combo, which would be an updated Fruity Pebbles combo with Enduring Renewal and Walking Ballista, and then the Bomberman combo with Auriok Salvagers and Pyrite Spellbomb. So we'll go over these cards in a bit. But one thing I wanted to mention was a reason to play this deck. So I came up with some pros as well as some cons. So the pros of this deck are really you can win from nowhere. There are certain cards you can draw that just let you go off. As well, it has several combos which overlap. They have some good overlap, similar type tutors. So in your singleton format like Canlander, overlapping combos are pretty important. Now, some of the cons of this deck, it is weak to graveyard hate. All the combos, because they overlap, they all rely on the graveyard. So if you're playing in a graveyard hate heavy meta, or some of the new cards that just incidentally have graveyard hate, it might be a little bit weaker against those type of decks. As well, you're in the Mardu colors, so you're a little bit draw and mulligan dependent. You don't have as many cards that just get you out or value cards. But that being said, I still think it's a good deck. I played an old version of this a while ago, so this is my updated version, something I'm kind of excited to show. So what are the points for playing in the deck? I have 2 for Underworld Breach, 1 for Taint Impact, 4 for Soul Ring, 3 for Mox Pearl. I find in the Mardu colors you're trying to go very fast, especially in this deck you don't have as many value pieces. So if you're just able to accelerate your threats out and you're trying to enact your combo first, that is where you're going to get the advantage from. So just being fast. Taint Impact is a great tutor in this deck. Once you have one piece, you just need one of the others. So Taint Impact can help find you the missing piece at instant speed. And then Underworld Breach is a good combo piece as well as a good regrowth effect if you have the intention of only playing one card to start your chain and then go from there. So these are the points I went with in the deck. Now let's talk about the Pebbles. Fruity Pebbles, an old deck. It mainly uses Enduring Renewal. So let's read that now. It is a 4 mana enchantment. You play with your hand revealed. If you would draw a card, reveal the top card of your library instead. If it's a creature card, put into your graveyard. Otherwise, draw a card. And whenever a creature is put into your graveyard from play, return it to your hand. So the original Fruity Pebbles deck played Goblin Bombardment and some other stack outlets, as well as the Pebbles, which were 0-cost creatures like Shield Spear, Phyrexian Walker. What I did with this deck is I kind of changed it a little bit. So we're playing Stormcoil Serpent and Walking Ballista, which our intention is to cast these with X is 0. They'll come into play. They'll die to a state-based effect. They'll go back into your hand. You'll cast them again, and you'll keep looping that. So you're going to get a lot of death triggers, a lot of storm also, and we'll go from there. So that's our Fruity Pebble style of the deck. Now, why are we doing all these death triggers? Well, for the payoff are these 5 cards. One is an enchantment, the rest are all 2-mana creatures with similar effects. Corpse Knight, whenever another creature enters under your control, each opponent loses. So you're casting the guys, they're coming into play, they're losing a life. Cruel Celebrant, very similar, but it's when they're dying, so when they go to the graveyard. The Blood Artist is also when they die, and Zulaport also when they die. Mihawk Massacre also when your creatures die. So these are all the payoffs that we're playing for our Fruity Pebbles portion of the deck. Now, the Bomberman part of the deck is these 3 cards. The Auriok Salvagers, a human soldier for 4 mana. It is a 2/4. And for a colorless and a white, you can return an artifact card with converted mana cost 1 or less from your graveyard to your hand, which could be this Pyrus Pebble or could be this Lion's Eye Diamond. What you're going to do is with Auriok Salvagers, you'll cast the Lion's Eye Diamond, sacrifice it for 3 white mana, use 2 of that to return Lion's Eye Diamond to your hand, and rinse and repeat. So you get infinite white mana. And then at some point you can say, okay, I'll use some of my white mana to make red mana, to use the spell bomb to get the spell bomb back, to shoot you, to get the spell bomb back, to shoot you, and keep repeating that. So that is the Bomberman part of the deck. Now, there's some overlap. This is another type of the combo. So we have the Lion's Eye Diamond, an Underworld Breach, and a Wheel of Fortune. These 3 cards will let you draw 7, discard your hand to pay for the Wheel of Fortune with the Lion's Eye Diamond. You'll end up with 1 extra card in your graveyard just to keep netting through cards. And then here's another version of that style, the Stitcher Supplier and a Culling the Weak with the Underworld Breach. Stitcher Supplier says when it enters or dies, put the top 3 cards of your library into your graveyard. So this is getting you 6 cards into your graveyard to pay for the escape cost of Underworld Breach, and Culling the Weak is getting you the mana to play both Culling the Weak and Stitcher Supplier, netting you 2 black mana. So we have a couple creature tutors in the deck. Academy Rector, I guess I'll say these are creatures that tutor. So Academy Rector is a creature. It tutors for enchantments and puts that into play. We have a couple in the deck like the Meathook Massacre, or the Enduring Renewal itself, something like Animate Dead. So pretty good utility here. The Ranger Captain of Eos, when he enters, you search for a creature with converted mana cost 1 or less, put into your hand, and it also has a silence type effect on it. You can use this guy to find either your Stitcher Supplier, your Walking Ballista, something like that. Your Imperial Recruiter finds a lot of the cards in the deck, as does the Recruiter of the Guard. These are just based on the power or toughness of the creature. We have some other tutors in the deck. So Enlightened Tutor, this is finding us any artifact, which could be the Walking Ballista, or any enchantment, which could be the Enduring Renewal, or an Underworld Breach, or whatever you're looking for. Tainted Pact. I put it into the tutor section, as really does find you anything in the deck. Your singleton deck. It's just how far you're willing to go. Entomb puts any card into the yard. Profane Tutor puts any card into your hand. And Diabolic Intent, again, puts any card into your hand. Just sacrifice a creature to do that, which maybe will be the Academy Rector to get you going. So there's a couple creatures that are used for recursion in this deck. Lurrus of the Dream Den is great. It can return almost anything in the deck, right? Anything that you care about in your combo pieces, whether it's the Blood Artist or the Walking Ballista itself, the Underworld Breach, if you're trying to do something like that, or the Lion's Eye Diamond. So Lurrus, very good in the deck. Auriok Salvagers, like I mentioned, he can return any artifact card. So we're playing a couple that sack just for value that also work with Lurrus. The Vesperlark, when it leaves, you can return a creature card with power 1 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, so you can evoke it to return your Academy Rector to play. Something like that. Priest of Felrights, again, another type of reanimate with a cool unearth ability to give it haste. So these are creature recursions. We have some other recursions. So we have Animate Dead. We also have Dance of the Dead. Both put creatures in graveyards into the battlefield under your control. Rally the Ancestors. This is one of the cards where it can win from nowhere. For 4 mana, you can return every creature that costs 2 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield, and that can just start your loops going. So I really like Rally the Ancestors here. Savine's Reclamation can return 2 things. Also just returns 1 on the first cast, 2 if you flash it back. The Unearth itself, which I also like just because it cycles. And Agadeem's Awakening, a land, can return multiple creatures from our graveyard to play. So I'm not going to go over all the rest of the deck, but I did want to mention some of the disruption. We're playing all these 1 mana discard spells that I play in a lot of decks. Because we're in an Orzhov deck, I'm playing a couple more specialized ones. Gerard's Verdict, 2 cards, you gain some life. Castigate is an exile effect from your opponent's hand. And then the Hymn to Torok, 2 cards at random. I just wanted to highlight some of the removal in the deck that I think is pretty cool. We have Portable Hole, Fateful Absence, Cathar Commando, and Dam. Dam, I've been looking for a deck to play this in because I think it is such a cool design with the Overload Wrath of God, and then just a single target, destroy a creature. So Dam, I think, is good in this deck. Our creatures, we don't really care if they go to the yard. Sometimes we want them to. And if we have the Enduring Renewal out, they'll just come back anyways. So I like Dam in here, or some of the sweeper cards, because we are just trying to build our combo. We don't want to die to aggro decks. That's why I think it's good. Cathar Commando, also really interesting. It costs 2, so you can get it back with Luris, and then it is a disenchant on a stick. As well, I think a flash 3/1, it has a place just in this style of deck. Again, Fateful Absence, really good removal. You're not too worried about your opponent investigating. You ideally just want to hope they're spending their time trying to draw a card while you're spending your time trying to combo off. And Portable Hole, a pretty flexible removal spell. It's any non-land permanent as long as it's mana value 2 or less. So that's really the deck, guys. I hope you like it. I think it's a really interesting one, and it certainly has the potential of just winning out of nowhere. I want to stress it is weak to graveyard hate. If you're playing against a Scavenging Ooze or some effect like that where they're able to just pick them off, that can be problematic. But I wish you guys the best. If you want to try this deck out, it is a pretty cool one, in my opinion. So let me know in the comments what you think. Thanks a lot. See you later.